The owner of the Royal Enfield Constellation I've been working on recently has asked if I can get the cylinder heads and cylinder barrels blasted and the barrels painted as well. So I've been preparing them to go on a visit locally where I've heard a guy has started up doing such work, and I thought I'd get them ready and hopefully they can be done intact with the valves and rockers and everything in place, rather than stripping the heads down bare, because the valve seatings and everything are so good. I didn't want to sort of mess where it might be unnecessary. So what I've done, I've come up with this. I've closed off the rocker oil feed unions by obviously removing the banjo bolts that would have been there, and I've just screwed in some plain studs to close those holes off. So no, it's going to be a liquid medium as well that the guy uses, apparently water blasting I believe, or something like that, so it won't be grit or sand or anything, but nothing will go in there where the oil goes in to feed the rockers. That's safe. I've got the inlet port there closed off. I made a couple of aluminium plates to cover them. That was easy enough, so they're fastened on, so nothing's going into the inlet ports. Exhaust ports, I came up with this actually. I was scratching my head about these a bit, and I was thinking of possibly making up rubber discs with washers either side and a nut and bolt through that I could screw up and tighten and lock in place. But then I found these new old stock footrest rubbers actually a very firm push-in fit into the exhaust port. So I've done that, pushed that right in, and I've just wrapped rag around the footrest rubber just to keep it stable and centralised in the port, but it is, you know, so it wouldn't wobble about and maybe come out. So that's in there firmly, nothing's going to go in there. On the underside, where the pushrod tunnels are, you see that, I'll turn it round in a minute, let's see. I found that although there aren't any threads in the pushrod tunnels, these bolts screwed in quite easily by hand a good few turns, and then just sort of wound up a little bit further with the spanner on, and they're in there nice and firm and snug, so they're closing off any path for anything that we don't want going in via the pushrod tunnels. And these bolts are 5/8 of an inch diameter and 18 threads per inch, whatever that translates to, but those bolts screw in really well, and they went in to all four pushrod holes very easily. And then, like I say, I could get a good few turns by hand, and then just a couple more with the spanner, and they're nice and tight. So that's all of the possible entries for blasting media that you don't want inside closed off to it. So I'm pretty confident that these cylinder heads can go off and be blasted and come back spotlessly clean, with no damage to the ports or the valves or the valve guides or the rockers or anything like that, and they'll be able to go straight back on once the cylinder barrels are back after being blasted and painted. That's the plan anyway. Let's hope it all works out.